mystery theory. In today's video, we're going to talk about something that you might think that is not as common as it actually is. And there was a survey some years ago. I remember seeing that 8% of the 8% of women in the United States will be or has been stalked by somebody in their lifetime. And I think that the man is a little bit less, but I'm not sure if it was a 3 or a 4%. So still pretty alarming numbers in my opinion. And today's case, it's going to be about somebody who was stalked to death. And as always, this is a very sad case. It is a true crime ASMR video, so if you don't like the combination, you're welcome to exit out of this video now before I start with the story. Also, if you do not care for ASMR content and you want to watch or listen to, actually, to true crime cases, I have my podcast. So if you want to check it out, the link will be in the comments down below. So I warn you, I'm not trying to trick you into listening to this video. Now, I want to say thank you to everyone in my Patreon page, as always, for the support. And there is going to be a new video for the third, I think it's the third or the fourth tier. So if you haven't, check it out. It's going to be on my Patreon page over the weekend. I'll have a link to that as well in the description box down below. Now that I got pretty much everything out of the way, let's talk about Charlene Hummert. Charlene was described by her friends and co-workers and even her kids that now are older described her as a great person, kind, good mom, good friend, and she was very well known for wanting to help people and for her religious beliefs. She used to go to church every Sunday, and she was overall somebody that most people liked. At the time, she was 48 years old, and she's been married for over 20 years. She had 3 kids with her husband and a great job. She was working for the state of Pennsylvania as an administrative assistant, and everything seemed to go her way, at least from the outside and from people looking into her life, her marriage, and everything. It seemed to be working just fine. Now, in 2001, Charlene's husband found an envelope in the windshield of his car. Inside, there was a kind of a glamour picture of Charlene, and it had a letter with the picture, and it read something like this: "Here is proof your wife is a slut. I had a one-nighter with your wife. She made sure my fiancé found out. I blame your wife for that. The time now is right for payback." Now, when he got home, he confronted Charlene, and she denied everything. She didn't know what he was talking about. She didn't know about any guy, and she assured him that she didn't have an affair, and had no idea who could do that. Charlene contacted the police because she was a little bit scared, and it was also recommended by most people that she was surrounded by. And what the police did at the time was just have more patrolling officers. I mean, they would stop by house, and according to Charlene's family, it was noticeable. I mean, you could see that they were all day long driving by their street and by their house. Even though the police was around, Charlene continued to get letters. According to some witnesses, she was always looking outside and looking at people. She always wondered if that person that was walking down the street was the one who was leaving the letters. At that point, according to her son, older son now, she didn't know what to trust anymore. The police also had no suspect. They processed and did forensic work on the letter and pictures, but they couldn't find any fingerprints or any kind of evidence that would point them to see who wrote these letters. The stalker next letter explained how he knew about her home security system, which I found that very creepy. Even about a camera that they had in the house and the passcode to get in and kind of deactivate the alarm in the house. He actually left the exact number in the letter. He also said that he found out this information because her kids had big mouths, and he basically blamed it on her kids, him knowing that information. This got to the point where it was very scary and not fair, according to Charlene. So it was a mix of emotions, a little bit powerless because she didn't know what to do and how to fix it, and at the same time a little bit scary because she knew that this person was watching her close enough to know how to even get in the house. But to make things worse, she was having problems with her husband, and after a heated argument, she one day left the house and didn't tell anybody where she was going. Apparently, this problem that they had, the stalker, it was creating more confrontation between the couple, and it became something that it was unbearable for Charlene. Her kids, actually her older kid, tried to contact her, but couldn't. She wouldn't pick up the phone. They knew that something was up. Her kids knew because no matter how mad she was at her husband, she wouldn't just not pick up her kids calling. The police was contacted, and they put a little, I don't know, it wasn't like a missing persons case. It was more like they were looking for her car. She had a white Land Rover. And the next morning after they reported her, they found the car in a supermarket parking lot. When they opened the car to check inside, in the back, under a blanket, laid Charlene's body. Apparently she's been strangled to death. And everybody at that point started to wonder, especially the police, if the stalker had anything to do with what happened to her. It kind of made sense to the police at the time, according to the interviews that I saw with the police. It was just making sense that whoever was writing those letters maybe was watching her from the outside and decided to follow her wherever she was going. However, if you're having an argument with your husband, going to the store, going to the grocery store, the supermarket, I don't get it, but she could have been somewhere else all night long. Now, the forensic team found that where she was found, the back of her car was staged, and was something that they quickly realized. Whoever killed her apparently put her clothes on after she was dead. They could tell because whoever killed her put on her jeans, and instead of buttoning it on the front, they did it in the back. So it seemed like a sloppy mistake that the killer did after she was dead. Now they also, when they did a little bit of, they didn't find that much in all that forensic evidence that, they went through the car and they tried to find as much as they could, but they didn't have enough. They knew that it was staged. They knew that she was killed outside because of the marks that they found in her body, and they also knew that she died somewhere else, and while she was moved, she was probably dragged by this person that left marks in her back, and they could find gravel, dirt, and pretty much anything that you can find in the ground, and it was attached to her skin, so whoever killed her had to drag her inside the car. That is pretty much everything that they had to go on as a preliminary forensic evidence. Now, when they went inside the store to talk to the employees, they told the police that the car was there before they clocked in that day, which gave them the beginning of a timeline that they needed to put together in order to find out what really happened to her, since they didn't have that much physical evidence. So they also checked the security cameras for everyone that got in the store in the timeline that they had to work with. When they checked, they finally found somebody that might have been suspicious, or it looked like he was hiding from the cameras. What the police knew is that he was wearing a blue parka, red gloves, and a hat. And again, it seemed like a little bit of that was to try to hide from the cameras, and he looked very like he didn't want to get noticed, but at the same time, it was almost like he was making a statement. When they checked the cameras, the only thing that he picked up at the store was dog biscuits, which, again, it made him look a little bit more suspicious because the police, they said that it's not common for somebody to go at 6 a.m. in the morning, go buy a small size biscuit for their dog and just leave. The footage was unclear and couldn't make out the facial details they were looking for. So even though they kind of figured that that was the guy, no physical evidence or nothing that they could go with to kind of try to make a face or anything to go on. The police decided to send the pictures to a photogrammetist, which I didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently I'm not into forensics because this is a pretty cool thing where they take a two-dimensional photograph and make it into a 3D image. Now how? Well, the short version is that it's a combination of math and physics. They also took into consideration the floor tiles and the size of them from the store to figure out, counting those tiles, how tall this guy was. It's pretty ingenious. They also use, when they used the tiles, they estimated that the guy that they knew was about 5'6", which, by the way, at the end, it's pretty spot on. police wanted to do more research on the soil on Charlene's body to help them identify the killer. They thought that might be something that they could use to find him, or use to find the spot where she was killed. Two of the best forensic geologists couldn't find anything, so they finally decided to contact Skip Balenik, which is an internationally known forensic microscopist. Okay, I didn't know that either. That's a thing, actually. It's pretty cool as well. And this guy, Skip, had 50 years of experience studying soil, so he was the man. He first knew that he needed to separate the clothing fibers from the soil. So I wanted to see it, so I looked it up, and it showed up in one of the documentaries that how he did it. It was a lot of work, but apparently he enjoys his job enough to spend whatever time he needed to do it. I have to tell you, it's pretty cool. He found a high concentration of iron and other minerals that indicated that the soil was from a place that worked with machinery equipment, maybe even a grinding equipment. That kind of narrowed it down. But they took it a step further, and they decided to get soil samples from different places. And one of them was Charlene's neighborhood, and a couple other places, so this expert could compare it and kind of narrow down where she was killed or where she was tracked. And interesting enough, there was a match, and it was in her own driveway. When they told the expert that Charlene's son had a shop, and again, this is not a shop, it's kind of a garage that her kid, David, which was the oldest, would use to fix cars. So it wasn't like commercial, but he had a lot of things that you can find in a mechanic shop. So when they told that to the expert, there was no doubt that that was exactly where they dragged her body before putting her in the car. Everything started to make sense. And again, it was a perfect match from the sample that they got from the driveway and the one that they got from Charlene's clothes. At this point, the husband would start to look a little bit suspicious because, yes, maybe they did have that fight and she decided to leave and maybe was confronted by the stalker in the driveway. But they thought that the husband would have seen something. The guy should have heard something. I mean, the stalker wasn't going to kill Charlene and not make a noise, or Charlene wasn't going to be quiet while he did it. So they talked to him again, and he said that the last time that he saw his wife was on Friday night. He said that the kids were away and that they got in an argument about the kids. Charlene's husband is Brian. He also said that she left the house at around 10:30 p.m. and never came back. One of the older kids, again, knew that something was up with this story because if she was planning to leave the guy, she would have taken at least a little brother. Or at the least minimum, she would have picked up her phone. Now the police was at the house and were looking for evidence because now the driveway, it's a crime scene. They realized that there's a cable that looks very suspicious. It was family used to walk the dog. And apparently, one of the details of the cable was very distinct and matched a mark that Charlene had on her body, specifically what she was choked with. So this red leash caused her death. They determined pretty quickly that that was it after doing the forensic work. Now at this point, Brian, the husband, changed his story. He told the police that it wasn't even him that went and talked to the police. Apparently he went with his lawyers. He accused his son, the older son, David, of killing his mom over an argument about a car that he wanted to buy. When the police talked to David, he explained that didn't happen and that maybe his dad was actually trying to get the attention towards David and not so much on him. The police didn't believe him for 1 second. I mean, they didn't believe Brian, the husband. They knew, according to all the research and investigation that they've done, that Charlene had a great relationship with her kids, especially with David. She was very close to David, according to her family, and this is before all this nonsense came to the light. But, however, she didn't have a great relationship with her husband. In fact, she was getting ready to leave the guy, and apparently, years earlier, she left him because there were some claims that he was being abusive towards the kids. She came back. However, she came back, okay, because she was living with the guy at the time. But apparently they did have kind of a problematic relationship, and it was showing that Brian was a little bit more violent that he portrayed to people. The police at this point, they got a letter from somebody claiming that they were responsible for Charlene's death, and it was signed by John. The letter said that he killed her after she wanted to end their 9-month affair. And he wrote, "She wanted to break it off, so I broke her neck. This is the 5th woman I killed, and I'm getting good at it. People don't know how easy it is to pin it on the husband." End of quote. The investigator sent the letter and the ones that they had before from the stalker to get forensic work done on it. And specifically they took it to Dr. Leonard. He was the best at it, and they knew that if somebody was going to find anything in these letters, it was going to be him. So when he examined the letter, he noticed something really odd. And again, sometimes I feel like they read too much into these things, but you'd be amazed to see their findings. Apparently the guy that wrote this letter used something that they describe as ironic repetition. He used the word break and then broke in the same letter, but under a different context. Let's go back to the letter. It said, "She wanted to break it off, so I broke her neck." It even showed a little bit of him being ironic and maybe a slight cruel humor. However, the stalker letter used the same technique. Oh, would have loved to find out. She made my fiancé found out. See, those are a few of the things that you'll find stalker's letters. So, the expert determined that the stalker and the serial killer was the same person. They took different writing samples from different people to the expert. They do that to try to find a match. One of those writing samples was Brian's, the husband. The expert didn't find anything that was, like a red flag, but he realized that all those samples were for work things, so he wasn't going to probably use the same language that he would use at home or in an informal letter that he would do something for work. But he found something very unusual, and I saw the interview to this guy, and he is so interesting. I'd be a little bit afraid to write a note in front of that guy. He said that he used a negative contraption like he isn't here, but he never wrote it in a positive one like yes, he's here. When he would do it in a positive way, he would say yes, he is here. Do you know what I mean? He isn't here instead of he is not here. When it's negative, and when it's positive, he would not use the contraption. The same thing happened in the stalker's letter. Something like she can't and almost didn't, in contrast with here is the proof. Can you see how one is negative, the other one is positive, but one is using the contraption and the other one isn't? Well, my friend, this guy is a genius. I have been following, that's another one that he used in a positive way. And instead of saying I've been, it was like I have been. The expert claims that this is very unusual, that most people use both. She can't make it, and it's just something that is not usual. If somebody is going to use a contraption, they're going to use it both ways, in a positive and a negative contraption. The final piece of evidence showed a guy that matched Brian's description. Remember, we had the other expert that determined that he was 5'6", and we know what he was wearing. When the police checked Brian's office, they found the parka, the blue one. Inside the pocket was a receipt for the dog biscuits. Yeah. Even though there is no physical evidence, it was enough for his arrest. The prosecution exploited the idea of an unhappy marriage and explained why they were having all these arguments and gave them a motive for the killing. So he came up with the stalker letters as well, and apparently, according to the prosecution office, this guy, Brian, the husband, was trying to fix the marriage with the letters. I don't know if that's something he confessed, but that is something that it's stated as what was true. But, well, apparently he wanted to send the letters because he wanted to Charlene to be scared and turn to him for protection, and kind of tried to work out the marriage before she left. So, what he didn't count on is that Charlene wasn't stupid, for saying it in a plain way. The police suspect that Charlene found out that it was him that was sending the letters, is all speculations again, because I couldn't find anything that said that he confessed to this. However, that was what it was used in court to explain why he did it. Apparently, when Charlene confronted him with what she thought it was the truth, that he actually wrote those letters, he lost control, maybe because she decided to leave, maybe because he was caught in a lie. We don't know exactly why, but according to the police and according to the trial, he basically lost control and grabbed the closest thing that he found, which was at the time the dog, a cable leash, and strangled her to death. He then dressed her, putting her pants the wrong way, dragged her through the driveway, and drove Charlene to the supermarket about a mile away. Now this was later on, but since it was about dawn, he decided that instead of dropping off the car and look a little bit suspicious, like, okay, I'm not gonna go to the store, he decided to go inside. And then, since the store was about a mile away from the home, he walked home. On October 2006, he got convicted with first-degree murder and got life in prison without the possibility of parole. At the end, not even their kids, which, of course, now they're older, and especially David. I saw one of the interviews in the same documentary that they talk about the forensic evidence and the dirt and pictures. And David explained that he just couldn't believe that he was capable of that. It was like he knew that they had problems. He knew that he was a little bit violent with the kids, but he never thought that he had it in him to kill his mom. And isn't it a little bit ironic that even though they had no forensic evidence as far as fingerprints, I don't know what I'm talking about. Even though they had no fingerprints, they just continued to investigate it in the most meticulous way until the wording gave him away. It's incredible that how your right can be so particular compared to other people. If you're speaking the same language, if you work in the same environment, if you're exposed to the same things, how is it possible that you write so distinctive that this guy, which in my brain, he's a genius, could notice all those things? I think that this just shows that there is a lot that you don't know, or we don't know, on how the process is in this kind of cases. Sometimes I feel very restricted and powerless when I find cases that there is nothing to go on, but this is the kind of case that you're like, well, if that is possible, maybe we're walking towards the right way. Maybe we're in the right path to find and make it more or harder for somebody to decide to do this kind of thing. It just amazes me how we're all human beings, and even when we share a lot of the same things, living in the same country, the same neighborhood, the same community, we are unique enough to be distinguished by somebody who knows how to read you. to read your, body expression, the way you talk, the way you write, the kind of things you have in your driveway. I think that most of the time that is a good thing. And I'm glad that at least they put the effort to find out who this guy was. And I'm also glad that, well, he's been convicted, he's in jail, but if he was the guy who was doing all this, I'm glad that he got, what he deserved, and that is to be locked away and staying away from people that he can one day decide that he doesn't need them anymore because they want to leave him. I want to close this video by saying that if you know somebody that is going through a divorce, or if you are going through a divorce or a hard breakup, it's gonna hurt, but count your days, because you're always a day closer to be done with the pain. Doing this kind of thing will never be the answer to your problem. If Charlene, in fact, she decided she was leaving, I mean, he wouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, maybe money-wise, they would have to split things, and it was going to be a big headache, but I don't think that's worth, that would be an excuse to do what he did. And getting rid of his wife just because she wanted to leave. I mean, you're gonna lose her either way. It's just to show that some people take things too seriously, and you can never tell who is going to be that person in your life. So always try to be safe. Try to stay away from this kind of confrontations, and kind of see from the outside how people react to this kind of thing, especially if you're the one that is going through it. And just know that it will be okay. Nobody has died because of a heartache, and everything will be okay. Sometimes we have to lose something that we really, really want to get something better. And I'm not talking about a husband or a wife. Losing a husband to get another one, Anna. I believe that we all have our own, bad things that people don't like about us, but you're exchanging an imperfect husband for another imperfect husband, or imperfect wife for another imperfect wife. But if it gets abusive, if it gets to the point that you need to get out, you're gonna gain a lot. Might be just peace, it might be just, peace of mind. But slowly you will realize that there is always a way out, there is always a different way, there is always a different route. And that this kind of impulse and thing that this guy, because they don't believe that he planned to do this. This was a spur of the moment. We're fighting, I'm mad, I'm gonna kill her. How can you predict that? There is no way. So, if you're going through this, just know that it will be okay in the end. You just have to count the day, get a calendar, and mark an X in every day that you survive this heartache. And again, this kind of thing will never be the answer to a problem. He didn't fix a problem, he created a bigger one of what it was. His kids lost not only their mom, who loved and just miss every day, but they also lost their dad, because regardless of the kind of guy he was, or if he was abusive, that is, the kids still have a soft spot for their father as well. So now this became a really sad story just because of something that could have been avoided. Try to keep your cool. always a way out. But this kind of thing will never be the answer. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I will be back Friday with a new case that I hope you stick around to listen to. If you have anything that you would like to add about the case, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I've gotten a lot of, and I'm telling you, a lot. That's why I'm a little bit apprehensive. People saying that they are part of the families of the cases that I cover here, and that they want me to change the facts. There's a big problem with that. I do not know you. I do not know you being part of the family. You could have put a name that is, related to the story, and then try to have me change it. Just so you know, I understand that the family's knowledge on a case will always be different of what the police release, what the media releases, and I understand that. I understand. But when I cover a case that is closed, that somebody went to jail for that specific thing, that means that in society's eyes, that person is guilty. Not because I say so, because I wasn't there. But that's how it is. So, if you are a family member and you want to leave your thoughts in the comments, I understand it. And it will never hurt my feelings that you tell a different story of what it is known in the media and what is known by the police and what it's been made into 100 different documentaries. But just so you know, I can't really refilm a video with facts from somebody that I don't personally know. If I do the research on what you're telling me and it doesn't add up, I can just change the story because you say you're a family member, and I'm doing this out of respect for the family members. I find it very interesting that in almost every other video I have a family member claiming that the story it was different, or that they want to add things to the story. Most people is not like, oh no, that's not the right one, but most people is like wanting to add things to the story. And I am sorry, but I decided not to do that out of respect for you guys that are listening to these cases and have the ability to look up 100,000 documentaries and verify what I share with you. But I can't really change the story and start a new case. I don't know how to say it, but just add to a story that I don't really know if it's the families. Maybe in the future I have plans to expand the podcast and do interviews and try to contact family members that are willing to talk about what happened. But truth be told, from somebody that leaves a message, it is really hard for me to do research on you. Just to add things to the story. I can't. And I'm doing it out of respect for you guys that listen, and for the families, and for the victims, and for everyone is innocent until proven guilty. I keep saying that all the time. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But if you've been proven guilty, I understand that there's a lot of innocent people in jail. But I'm just a simple girl with an ASMR channel that I do not have the power to do anything about it. I wish I did, but I don't have the power. I do not work in, something that convicted somebody to go to jail. And I don't even have that many subscribers. My channel is not big. I get it. If you comment on Shane's Dawson's video, or Kendall Ray, or big YouTubers that do this kind of thing, and they're not even ASMR, they're just bigger YouTubers that cover true crime cases. Maybe they have a bigger impact, and maybe they will be listened to, but this is just me here. So, it's just a girl in a closet recording ASMR videos. And just so you know, I spend hours a day, every single day, researching these cases. This is not something that I read and copy, paste, and read to you guys. This is a series of documentaries that I look up, that I buy myself. Yeah, I buy a lot of them in Amazon. And do you know what I mean? I do my best to do the research, but after all, the case will be what it's available to a humble human being. I do not have access to cases or files or anything that would be groundbreaking. What I'm telling you here is probably something that you can hear in another, not ASMR, but yeah, maybe even an ASMR video or a regular true crime channel or documentary. I'm not breaking news here. I just reporting on stuff that it's already out there. So I'm sorry that I went in this little tangent, but I thought it would be interested. You guys would be interested to know, because I've said pretty much the same thing to the people that ask me to change the stories, and for people that, and I thought that you guys should know about it. Not because I'm gonna change them, but because there is a lot of people out there that claim to be somebody that they're not. And I know because I did my research, and one person that claimed to be a family member, and she wasn't. And I am not going to put my effort into researching every single person that leaves a comment, decides to start a conversation out of YouTube, and then leave it up to me to find out if they're telling